Hello, everyone, and welcome to my home and away news. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Is anyone ever really dead on General Hospital? When someone dies on General Hospital, it doesn't mean that they are dead forever. Characters sometimes get a second, or even a third or fourth life. Britt Kelly Thiebaud died. We all saw it. She was attacked when she saved Jocelyn Eden McCoy from the Hook Killer. She died in her mother's arms. There was no question about it. But here we are with Britt walking around in the land of the living. The powers that be haven't given us an explanation for how and why yet, but it will surely be a doozy. Then there is her dear old dad, Faison, Anders Hove. He has been relived more than once over the years. Now his daughter is being held by an unnamed someone who some believe is Faison back from the dead. If not her dad, maybe it's her brother Nathan, Ryan Peavy, who is set to make a miraculous return to Port Charles. They cannot keep anyone in this family down. If that's not crazy enough, before Britt died, she, along with the rest of Port Charles, believed Jason Steve Burton was dead. So, they each thought the other was gone forever. And now they are both back. How often does that happen? If fans have their way, this very much alive couple will be back together ASAP. Jason's twin, Drew, Cameron Matheson, was also once presumed dead. He wasn't. He was being held prisoner by the evil Cassadines, but eventually made his way home, only to have a complete personality shift. The once nice guy has become an evil villain who almost died recently. So many more. If we look back in GH history, there were so many others who turned up alive after dying. Jason's other brother, AJ, Sean Kanan, was once resurrected. Then there was the reunion of the century when Laura Jenny Francis returned to Luke X Anthony Geary after he thought she was gone forever. Luke himself was also believed to be killed in an avalanche when he wasn't. The list can go on and on. There was Brenda, ex-Vanessa Marcel, Robin, ex-Kimberly McCullough, Robert, Tristan Rogers, Nicholas, ex-Adam Huss, and many more. We can see them die, but no character is really dead on GH. Could Spencer, ex-Nicholas Chavez, be next? When it comes to General Hospital, death is less of an ending and more of a temporary pause. Port Charles, a city where mobsters, doctors, spies, and star-crossed lovers collide, has long held a reputation for bending the rules of mortality. To longtime fans, the question isn't if a character will return from the dead, but when. And in what shocking, melodramatic fashion. Soap operas thrive on reinvention, but GH has mastered the art of resurrection like few others in daytime television. To walk into the hallowed halls of General Hospital or step foot on the Corinthos compound is to accept that the dead don't always stay buried. The soap opera rule of death. Unlike primetime dramas or blockbuster films, where death often means closure, soaps operate with an entirely different set of rules. Death is flexible, layered with wiggle room. Sometimes it's a trick, a fake demise for protection, an undercover mission gone wrong, or a misidentified body. Other times, it's more fantastical, involving medical miracles, cryogenics, or secret captivity. On GH, a funeral rarely convinces anyone that a character is truly gone. When the camera lingers on a supposedly lifeless body, the audience has learned to squint and ask, but is it really over? Classic resurrections that shaped Port Charles. One doesn't have to look far to find examples. Take Anna Devane, who has survived more near-death experiences than most spies in fiction. Or her long-lost twin, Alex, whose sudden reappearances blur the line between death and mistaken identity. Then there's Jason Morgan, arguably the king of soap resurrections. Fans vividly recall when Jason was presumed dead after a Pier shooting, only to be revealed years later as having been held captive. The reveal of Patient 6 shook the soap world, proving once again that Jason's absence is never permanent. Laura Spencer, the heart of Port Charles, is another shining example. Believed dead for years, her eventual return was both a ratings boon and a heartwarming moment for fans who had mourned her. The power of her resurrection solidified her status as an eternal cornerstone of the series. And let's not forget Helena Cassadine, who practically trademarked the concept of dead but not really. For decades, Helena's shadow loomed over Port Charles, with her spectral presence and occasional physical returns, reminding everyone that Cassadines are never truly gone. The soap opera landscape is built on longevity. Characters aren't just individuals, they're legacies, investments, and storytelling goldmines. Killing off a fan favorite permanently would cut off endless narrative possibilities. By reviving them, writers keep history alive while also igniting fresh storylines. Resurrections also allow for dramatic irony. Viewers often know a character is alive before the rest of the cast, creating delicious suspense. Watching loved ones grieve, clash, and attempt to move on adds emotional depth, especially when the inevitable return flips everything upside down. From a business perspective, bringing back familiar faces is a surefire way to boost ratings. Nostalgia sells, and few things thrill fans more than a dramatic reveal of a supposedly deceased character walking back into town. The emotional fallout of death. Of course, these repeated returns aren't just gimmicks. They serve as catalysts for deep emotional storytelling. When a character dies, their absence forces others to change. Sonny Corinthos, for instance, has been shaped profoundly by the many losses he's endured, real or otherwise. Carly's evolution is marked by the grief she's faced, grief that is often rewritten when a loved one reemerges alive. This emotional whiplash can lead to resentment, reconciliation, or even fractured bonds. Imagine believing your soulmate is gone forever, only to discover they were alive but unreachable. The betrayal of that absence adds complexity to already tangled relationships. When death is permanent. Still, not every character escapes the grave. Some losses on GH are permanent, often tied to an actor's decision to leave the show or to preserve the integrity of a story. For instance, Alan Quatermain's death was a true turning point, marking the end of an era for the Quatermain family. His ghostly appearances since then are more symbolic than literal resurrections, keeping his spirit alive without undoing his powerful exit. Likewise, the death of beloved characters like Emily Quatermain or Georgie Jones carried emotional weight that lingers decades later. These losses anchor the show's reality, reminding fans that while some characters cheat death, others remain forever part of Port Charles' tragic history. The fan perspective. For fans, the death that isn't really death trope is part of the thrill of soap watching. It sparks speculation, fuels fan forums, and ignites debates about who should return next. Some viewers groan at yet another back from the dead twist, while others eagerly anticipate it, viewing it as a comforting tradition. It's also deeply tied to loyalty. Characters who return from the dead carry decades of viewer investment, making their comebacks feel like reunions with old friends. Whether it's a surprise reappearance at a wedding, a reveal in a dark alley, or a dramatic unmasking, these moments are fan service in the best possible way. Port Charles, a city of the living dead. At this point, G8 has embraced its identity as a place where death is negotiable. The morgue may be full, but the revolving door ensures that anyone can walk out alive under the right circumstances. In Port Charles, no villain is ever truly vanquished, no hero is ever fully gone, and no love story is ever permanently interrupted. Death itself has become another storytelling tool, as malleable as amnesia or long-lost twins. The real question isn't who will die, but who will return, and in what shocking, heart-stopping fashion. The answer: no, not really. So, is anyone ever really dead on General Hospital? The answer, delightfully, is not really. While some characters rest in peace, many linger in the liminal space between life and legend. The writers, producers, and actors all know the value of a resurrection. The gasp, the tears, the collective fan meltdown on social media. In Port Charles, coffins are temporary, memorials are placeholders, and goodbyes are rarely forever. Death on GH is not an ending. It's an invitation for a twist, a comeback, or a reinvention that keeps the story spinning and the fans glued to their screens.